Looks like we are recording, so welcome to Parent Night. I am sorry that I could not be there with you, but I thought that a video would be the next best thing. I'll be highly uncomfortable trying to film this from my seat and showing you different things and trying to look at the camera. So if I'm struggling through this, bear with me. I'm also trying to read off a script so I don't forget anything, so hang in there. Quick background, I do know several of you, so this may not be new information, but Greg Williamson is my name. I actually have 3 students who have all come through Kennedy, the oldest now in high school, one in middle school, and one in 5th grade who's on the way. I'm actually a Ferndale student myself, graduate of Ferndale High School, and also a student of Open Classroom way back at Taft, and I also went to this same building back when it was called Best Junior High. After that, the other educational background, University of Michigan, I have an elementary education degree, and Harvard University, I have a degree in mathematics. Why should that matter to you? Because it's helped me prepare to teach mathematics to your child, hopefully very well. In addition, I've been teaching now 21 years, everything from K through 2, if you believe that, to upper elementary for quite a long time now, about 10 years. In addition, I've taught quite a bit of middle school, I've taught high school, and I teach currently at the college level at night. So with that said, the reason that helps you, I know where your kids have been mathematically, I know where they are going, and I know even hopefully where we'd like them to be, and that's to end up hopefully one day as a college student. So I can take that all into consideration for our instruction. With that said, probably the most important thing to me and what I'll list on the sheet that I hand out as my mission, I want the classroom to be fun. For me, at least half the battle, or maybe more than half the battle, I want your kid to come home excited. I want them to say they did something fun in school. If I can get them energized, enthusiastic, I feel like the rest of it can all happen. If they're not liking school, if they're uncomfortable, if for some reason the environment's not suiting them, I need you to contact me and I need to try and fix it. Ultimately, before we approach anything academically, their happiness really is going to be my goal. Beyond that, you'll hear this repeated from Ms. Old and I several times. We want to get them ready for middle school. This is the last step at the elementary level, so we'll try to make them successful middle school students, and that will be highly dependent on their organization, everything from them carrying different subject notebooks and folders, going to their lockers between each class instead of just keeping everything in their desk. Some of the assessments, the scoring, things like that are all meant to get them ready for middle school, and that's really my goal. Twofold, to have them be excited and have fun, but then also to get them ready for middle school as they move on next year. I'll start with math, talk a little bit about that, and then switch over to science. On the math side, I wanted to make sure this is recording actually. On the math side, our curriculum, the website I listed there is now called Common Core. The good news, it's actually a national curriculum. Everybody across the country is learning exactly the same thing at the 6th grade level. The website there will take you right to it, and you could actually follow everything that we would study throughout the year. Some of our big topics, operations with fractions will be very big and will take quite a while. Geometry, and also an introduction to algebra will be 3 that you'll see coming home. In class, every day the students will walk in, they'll see a warm-up problem on the board. That will get them doing mathematics right away. They'll get used to doing the math, talking about the math, explaining themselves, justifying, so I'll ask you to reinforce some of those things when they come home. After a warm-up, we'll always have an activity each day. It might vary, it might be a group activity, it might be an individual activity, but something that will engage them in the math. From there, we'll move to some sort of guided practice or individual practice. We'll also make sure that each day we're also doing some homework check and homework support if they need it. That's what your average day will look like, and you should hear some of those things each day when they come home. Our math journal, the first visual aid that I'll use, math journal, this will be a separate notebook just for math. This will mainly be used to house vocabulary, examples, and things like that, so that if they're stuck or if they're forgetting about a topic, they can bring that home, show it to you, take it out during class, so they'll get the idea that taking notes is important, using that for their own good. The other one, the homework packet. Hopefully you've seen this come home. And if there were an important item, I would probably rank this one number one. The homework packet will come home every Monday for the rest of the year, even Christmas week. They'll see this come home. The goal is that they learn to manage their time and have you monitor it, whether that be you sitting them down in a good spot to do homework, whether it's you doing it with them, whether it's you just checking over a problem or two when they're done. I want to figure out a way for them to get that done by the following Monday, for you to sign it, and for it to come back. And if they're able to do that, it sets them up for success at the middle school level. The other part of homework is IXL.com. That is our independent math. Each week they'll have a sequence of benchmarks that they're asked to work on, and they're asked to achieve a score of 80. Those are our core topics, but also some peripheral topics that will help support them with the content we are working on. The math challenge that you've seen them come home is basically just to supplement, something in addition. If kids are still looking for more to do, those are more math games that they can work on, still with the content we're working on. But if you have kids with extra time rather than just playing on the internet or something else, they're encouraged to go on there, challenge themselves, get themselves faster, more efficient at problem solving, but again, more in a game type setting. Finally, for math, our projects, sort of monthly, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, a project will come home. It will incorporate some math, but will also be cross-curricular. The goal there is to get kids doing some real-life, big applications of some of the topics we'll cover, also to get families involved and talking quite a bit about some of the real-life math that you would see. Switching over to science, science will have 3 core units. Populations and ecosystems is the first one we're working on in class now. Earth processes is our second, where kids will get introduced to geology. And finally, Newton's laws will be an introduction to physics. That will be our last one. Again, in class there, kids will have a daily warm-up. There will be a question projected on the board as soon as they walk in. Again, they'll be talking about science, explaining themselves, and then we'll usually move to an activity or an experiment. Fortunately, we have great kits for science that have a lot of hands-on work. The big push in 6th grade, though, is that they're not only doing experiments and having fun, but actually pulling the science content out of it. With that said, they'll actually have an assessment built in each week. So after a week of doing our warm-up problems, doing an activity, they'll always be assessed on the content to make sure they're engaging while they're doing it. When they are engaging in that experiment or activity, they will actually keep track of a science journal. And again, this will be color-coded, separate, devoted just to science. This one will be a little different, and that will actually be formalized with a table of contents showing all of their activities and experiments in here. So if you ever ask to see this come home, this should have a heading on it. It should have the scientific topic we covered, and you can see the students' own thoughts and scientific findings in there. For science, we'll also have a project during each unit. That one is going to be more so in class. It will usually be a group project. There will still be a rubric for it that they'll be asked to meet several requirements. That one will usually be performed and published in class. You're always welcome to ask for a copy to be sent home or to find out their score to see what they're doing and what they're working on in here. But again, that one not as much at home work. Finally, our data binder. The data binders are used to house a sheet that will record students' performances, but also their goals for every topic. So each week, after students have taken our weekly quizzes that hopefully you will see coming home and often be asked to sign and get updated on, those quizzes will go in there, their quiz scores will go in there, and students will be asked to set goals each quarter and each unit as we go through. You are always welcome to take a look at those. They're housed right in the hallway there. You can just pull your child's binder and take a look and see what their performance looks like, talk to them about goal setting and things along the way. A couple additional notes. Tickets, if you see tickets coming home, those are just a positive incentive for students who are answering questions, doing a good job. They can turn those in for treats in class. They can save up and have a pizza party in class. But in general, if you see them coming home in pockets, find them in the washing machine. Those are being used to help keep a positive incentive-based program going in class. Also, charities. If you walk through our classroom and see a big bulletin board with charities, often students purchase treats with change or quarters, and eventually that change adds up, or students make donations, or we do a fundraiser, and we choose a charity every month or so, make a donation to that charity, and talk about students' connections to those. Lastly, my parting words. I've kept this to about 10 minutes, so I better cut this off here. Parents, what I'm asking, please, if I could have one thing, please monitor the weekly homework. Please help them find a spot to work, establish a plan. If they're able to develop that routine and eventually become independent about doing that homework on a weekly basis, have you at least check it over and sign it, complete those IXL skills on the computer. I think those are the students who end up being very successful as they move on in middle school. Otherwise, I look forward to a great year. We'll have lots of fun. Please email me any questions. Please check in on the communications that Ms. Old and I will send home by email quite frequently, and I look forward to a great year. Thank you.